This bill does not trim SNAP around the edges. It does not cut waste, fraud, and abuse. It cuts SNAP to its core, to the tune of approximately $250 billion, which may sound like an abstract number, but there are human lives at stake. There are children who will go hungry. There are seniors who have to choose between prescription drugs and food. There are working parents who rely on that few $100s a month to put food on their table. My amendment would strike one of the most damaging provisions of this bill, a provision that would shift 75% of the administrative costs onto the states, up from current 50% split. In my district in New York City, more than 118,000 of my constituents use SNAP to put food on the table. And across New York State, 1 in 7 residents depend on it.
Donald Trump pretends that he's this big, strong, tough guy. That's the point of his tariffs, to cover the weakness that is actually true of Donald Trump. The fact that he isn't strong, he isn't tough. And that's been very obvious with the losses he suffered lately, both in court, both in Congress, and public opinion, and on the world stage. And the latest of those losses was delivered to him by the European Union. Donald Trump has been attacking the European Union, threatening tariffs, and he just admitted defeat and a total humiliation that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really does mean a lot to me now. Before we can get into what Donald Trump just said, admitting defeat, we have to start with the big tough guy fake act that he was trying to put on before, and we can see that in this clip and post right here.
This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the European Union. They were the toughest of all. They were nasty. And I see that. I see that with trade, too. European Union is in many ways nastier than China. Okay? And we've just started with them. Oh, they'll come down a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very unfairly. They sell us 13 million cars. We sell them none. They sell us their agricultural products. We sell them virtually none. They don't take our products. That gives us all the cards, and very unfair. So they're going to have to pay more for health care, and we're going to have to pay less. That's all it is.
Along with that weird meltdown of an attack Donald Trump wrote, the European Union, which was formed for the primary purpose of taking advantage of the United States on trade, has been very difficult to deal with their powerful trade barriers, VAT taxes, ridiculous corporate penalties, and non-monetary trade barriers, monetary manipulations, unfair and unjustified lawsuits against American corporations. And more have led to a trade deficit with the U.S. of more than $250 million a year, a number which is totally unacceptable. Our discussions with them are going nowhere. Therefore, I am recommending a straight 50% tariff on the European Union starting on June 1st, 2025. There is no tariff if the product is built or manufactured in the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I would first like to say it's clear that Donald Trump did not write that post because there were, multiple 3-syllable words, but the sentiment, of course, is reflected in Trump lashing out, being angry that the world is turning on him as he destroys the global economy with his idiotic trade wars. And of course, we've seen this with our closest allies, our allies in Canada. And Mark Carney has made it very clear that if Donald Trump wants to make global trade difficult, he'll find other trading partners. And not only has he said that, but he said it alongside other world leaders, including Emmanuel Macron, just talking about trade, but talking about relations with Ukraine as well. And it was these two clips from Macron that I think of led to a change of heart for Donald Trump.
We both stand for sovereignty and security, demonstrated by our unwavering support for Ukraine under your leadership. With you, Mr. President, I want to ensure that France and the whole of Europe works enthusiastically with Canada, the most European of non-European countries, determined like you to maintain the most positive possible relations with the United States. Canada is a reliable, trustworthy, and strong partner of France, which shares our values and lives them through action during this age of economic and geopolitical crises. Merci, cher Emmanuel. Merci tout le monde.
Merci, mesdames et messieurs.
Mark Carney, other European leaders have made it clear to Donald Trump they want to do business with the United States. Of course, it's the biggest market in the world, but if Donald Trump is going to get in the way of global trade, get in the way of these long-standing alliances, they'll find another person to trade with. If Donald Trump wants to screw things up, he will be screwing things up first and foremost for Americans. And that's political pressure he can't deal with. Donald Trump bends so quickly when anyone is tough with him. After his first call with Mark Carney, he stopped calling him, which he called Justin Trudeau, the governor of Canada. He snapped right back into prime minister, taking him seriously. And of course, we saw Mark Carney shut him down in the Oval Office. And it's all of this that has led Donald Trump to decide that June 1st date. Maybe he's not feeling it, admitting defeat. Right here.
You spoke to European Commission President von der Leyen. Did you discuss the 50% tariffs, and did you agree to remove?
She just called me, as you know, and she asked for an extension on the June 1st date. And she said she wants to get down to serious negotiation because I've told you specifically, but I told anybody that would listen, they have to do that. And we had a very nice call, and I agreed to move it. I believe June 9th would be, July 9th would be the date. That was the date she requested. Could we move it from June 1st to July 9th? And I agreed to do that. And that she said we will rapidly get together and see if we can work something out.
The art of the deal. Ladies and gentlemen, master negotiator Donald Trump. Wow, just so incredible. Such incredible work, immediately bending. It has been 2 days since Donald Trump put that post out saying the tariffs are coming. Well, we're going to get you with the tariffs, and we're going to be all mean and tough. Instantly crumbles, and this is not. So we see expedited negotiations. No, they still have time to negotiate. Donald Trump is just doing this because he knows what the impacts are on the markets at home, especially as we see big box retailers like Target and Walmart talking about the empty shelves that are coming because of Donald Trump's idiocy, and he still has no plan. Just listen to him talk tariffs right here.
Secretary Bessent has said that we don't need to return textile manufacturing to the United States. How do you see, like, a lot of your reciprocal tariffs, they're pretty big on those low-income countries?
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. We're not looking to make sneakers and T-shirts, and we want to make military equipment. We want to make big things. We want to do the AI thing with the computers and the many elements. But the textile, you know, I'm not looking to make T-shirts, to be honest. I'm not looking to make socks. We can do that very well at other locations. We are looking to do chips and computers and lots of other things. And tanks and ships, meaning ships, yeah.
You mentioned you were happy with the
He doesn't know what he is saying. This is what we have continued to come back to, that there's no art of the deal. There's no negotiation. There's no long-term plan. There's no ethos behind this. It is a man who is losing his mind levying tariffs without actually understanding their implications. And it's the same thing that we see in the GOP budget, which Congressman Dan Goldman called out in a brutal takedown right here.
This bill does not trim snap around the edges. It does not cut waste, fraud, and abuse. It cuts SNAP to its core, to the tune of approximately $250 billion, which may sound like an abstract number, but there are human lives at stake. There are children who will go hungry. There are seniors who have to choose between prescription drugs and food. There are working parents who rely on that few $100s a month to put food on their table. My amendment would strike one of the most damaging provisions of this bill, a provision that would shift 75% of the administrative costs onto the states, up from current 50% split. In my district in New York City, more than 118,000 of my constituents use SNAP to put food on the table. And across New York State, 1 in 7 residents depend on it. This bill wouldn't just cut the benefits, it would starve the program. The GOP's proposed changes to SNAP would create a new burden on New York State of over $2.1 billion. And let's be real, what happens when administrative costs shoot up like that? The states can't backfill that amount of money. It's just not feasible. So what happens, of course, is benefits are cut. It's incredibly cynical because you will hear Republicans, and New York Republicans in particular, my colleagues, who have nearly as many SNAP beneficiaries as I do, and they will say, oh, well, it's just putting it on the local officials, on the state. But make no mistake, it increases administrative costs, which is just cutting benefits by another name. This program averages $6 per person per day. And the work requirements that we hear so much about would actually cause 300,000 New Yorkers to lose some or all of their SNAP benefits. That is what this bill is doing, and my amendment would fix that. I urge the committee to support it and rule it in order.
At the whims of a man who is in cognitive decline, lashing out against his political enemies, the Republican caucus is falling in line for the greatest wealth transfer from the bottom half of America to the top 0.001% that we have ever seen in history. It is the only way to frame and understand what is happening right now, and it needs to be called out. That is what we are doing on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I'll see you soon.